just said who was winning. I'm literally getting ready. Look at what Twitch they did. You see the chair on fire? Oh my god. Yeah.
Doing, but Ginger already served from outside.
All right, test.
Do we have anybody that we can actually test? Let me talk to Rusty.
Okay, they realize that they need to switch sides.
Yeah, it should be going on, so we can see. Somebody can give us a.
Yeah, you're good, huh?
Right, it's leaning towards us, so that makes it easier.
Even better.
So check out our.
Can I photobomb you?
Oh wow, that is us. Like,
Yeah, right.
we're not doing even.
You're in the booth. You're in the bunker, as they
We're
say.
not. This is not even just the facial shot. This is like the main. So I need to be looking when we go the.
Yeah, we need to look up a little bit. Yeah, just gonna tell you. It's the bunker.
Wow.
Can't you put it lower so you don't have to look up?
Well, but then it gets in the way.
Viewing. Correct. So we're not. It won't be us the majority of the time.
And I've got.
That's why I kept smelling the pickles.
Here's your mouse. So you can, if you click here, change the serve.
I think it's $9.
Once they get going, and then when you get over here, obviously,
Mariana serving at $9.
get the
Okay.
serve.
This is when if we had a.
She just served it.
This is when we had a.
Is it a 9 or a
We were
6?
actually sitting at a table.
Well, it couldn't be.
The computer could be behind the microphone, and then I could really see it.
Yeah.
This is it.
But it was 6
Scoot
feet.
up. We're not going to be on
They didn't
screen
change.
very often.
Okay.
Do it like he. Right. Exactly.
Not right now. We're just the match, so there's no. So they can't hear us.
The guy right there.
Okay, so they can't hear us. But a second ago they could. They could.
Volleyed it over the net. Wow.
And I'll give. All right, we'll actually hope for some people to give us some feedback via text, or is there
Yeah.
not in the chat?
I mean, I'm not really monitoring the chat. So
So, okay, no. So if Rusty Walker or somebody that we know is actually on here, if they could send a message to us personally to give us some audio feedback of how we sound. We know Philip looks good, so we don't need to worry about that. We could have some comments from the Peanut Gallery. We got Linda Lindberg over here to my right.
Hey, James. Ginger.
I've got the chat up now, so if somebody does drop a line in the chat, I already see it on the phone.
Unreal. Who else do we have? Maybe I've got some people.
He thought it was
Audio. We got audio. Rusty Walker gave us the audio. Is great.
Awesome.
Oh, we can watch it.
How's the pickle?
Might not need to chomp on the pickle during the audio.
Actually, we can watch it right here on this TV.
Hey, is Houston going to Georgia too?
He's just a junior in high school.
He's a junior? I thought he was the girls' age.
During COVID, he did 8th grade. We did a little online school like Ryan did just now.
Oh, okay.
So
Lady, you can see it right
he was
here.
at Greengate for
I knew he had
and then when we
dyslexia,
transitioned to 8th grade,
Okay.
that was the first year we did that, and that was the first year actually anybody that had transitioned from 7th, 8th grade Greengate or 7th to 8th grade Randolph.
Right.
That was a transition.
Right.
Just use those words. And so then COVID hit, and right before COVID, then it was actually great timing to, hey, let's do a year. We actually did that next year all.
Alright, now
Wait, what is the top? What is going on 3? Oh, they're just in the second. All right, what do we got? Oh, I have a 3.
Ginger Marion, I believe.
Perfect.
Rest of we're good?
Yeah, oh, he said lost the audio, but we turned the radio off. Are we back on?
Yep, good.
He said scoreboard could go, top is cut off of the scoreboard. The scoreboard could go down a bit. Better now, just a smidge to the left. With the,
With the score. I can't really adjust that.
Now it's like the old ginger.
all right, we're starting here. We got the men's open final. We've got Dan Richardson, former. We got Houston Jakes to serve. We got Dan Richardson and Greg Mason. Dan grew up here in Huntsville.
When I
We'll go
first
through that in a
started,
minute. First point
I
here.
didn't think it was hot.
Ooh, right in there. Nice pickup up there. Yes.
Wow, it's a very high level first point by everybody.
If that's the way this match is going to go, we're going to be entertained.
There's the picture of that, just showing you, not a big deal. Yeah, we've got, that's better, he said. whatever you just did. Yeah, so a little background on everybody. We got Houston Jake serving here, 17 years old. His partner is Parker Free, 18 years old. He is at Bob Jones. Houston's at Madison Academy. Parker Free has committed to go play college tennis at Samford in Birmingham. Very excited about that. And now we got 40 Love here, Jakes and P. Free. On the other side, we've got Dan Richardson, grew up in Huntsville, grew up out in Hampton Cove. Was able to train with him back in the day as he was growing up a little bit. He grew up around Alex Rafi and Anthony Leosi. We used to have the three of those boys practicing a lot together. He ended up being top 50 in the country and went on to play college tennis at Princeton, and now is back in Huntsville after a good bit of time away. That's a great first game. And then we've got Greg Mason. And Greg Mason is around 52 years old, I think. One of the high-level men that we have here at the club. Very tough to play here indoors, especially with the lefty, the slider. This would be good and entertaining, Philip.
Looking forward to it.
We've got Bill Reeves in the chair doing a little official referee umpire.
Trying to keep the chaos down. Or maybe causing chaos.
Correct.
So it looks like we're going to Greg to serve first. What do you think of that call?
Actually, I'm okay with it. I like the lefty. It's very tough to return his serve. He's probably been very high on his holding. It's wide. His serve is extremely difficult to return here on these indoor courts. Stays low, able to move. Dan will be able to move at the net a little bit if he wants, but that's not. I would say that's not Dan's strength. Is moving and poaching, especially off the backhand volley right there.
It was a good setup, though. I mean, that's if they can keep that up, they'll get the opportunities, get the looks.
100%. That's 2 first serves, 2 returns made. The key here for these younger boys is going to make them. That's a great point by, we'll call them the older guys and the younger guys again, even though Dan's not that old. Dan's just, I think, he might have already turned 32. He's not 32, he's just 31.
I like the serving volley of right there, kind of taking, just giving him a different look, not letting him just sit back there and just wail on that return.
Smart, because I think they don't. Oh my goodness, that's unlucky. They called a let as that ball was traveling across. Greg, what's that?
What's your score?
Yeah, haven't done that yet. 15-30. Yeah, Greg doesn't want to probably get into a 10-12 ball rally, so the serving volley is a great play. And he hits the serve. That's a big change. There's the potential of 2 break points right there off the return winner off the let. And then he hits the line on the first serve, and now it's 30-all.
I got the serve position. Greg's serving out wide. I know a lot of times I don't like to start that wide on serve because it leaves so much in the middle of the court open. But you think with the quality of return that these guys can generate on the width that he has to play out there?
Yeah, I think with his lefty serve and him just standing out there, especially on the ad side, but he just did that on the deuce. I think he's able to naturally carve the ball, which he just did, and still carve the ball into the backhand, as we watched last night, with P. Free backhand return. I think he can naturally still hit that spot.
Oh, yes, Greg.
That's a great forehand line. That's the one that was curious if he was going to be able to hit. And he just did execute that. That's a great 4 points in a row by the adults after getting down love 30 in that game. We got 1-all, P. Free to serve, going I formation.
No one going to take that calculated risk to go down the line, right?
Correct. And 15 love here. If we actually had the replay, you could go back on that 40-30 point. He actually moved a little bit more off of the widest ball that Houston hit. So that's not probably the one to creep middle. P. Free's serve looking pretty solid with the miles per hour there. He's actually generated a good bit more miles per hour in the last 6 months. That thing's probably increased at least 10 miles an hour in the last 6 months.
Is that just a confidence thing, or was there a technical tweak?
No, I think he's definitely worked technically a little bit. He's also worked on racket head speed, the elbow, the flying through the ball, and you can tell a big difference. I mean, he's getting after it.
He just changed rackets too. I mean, what precipitated that? Because he used to hit with a strike. Is that correct?
That is accurate.
And now he got the arrow.
So he played with a strike for a long, long time and just felt like he needed just a little bit more of the racket to help him. And that this Pure Aero 98 is a good balance of just the racket where you're still going to that's where they don't need to fear. I mean, yes, you're going to fear everybody moving across, but like I said at the beginning, Dan moving across, hitting a backhand volley is it's okay. It's smart on Dan's part to do it because I think they're not going to necessarily win because of, hey, he goes across so many times and hits backhand volleys, but he's going to put fear in the ground stroke because he just moved. So you got to be fearful of him moving, whether you make it or miss it. That's a great move of him doing that early.
It's going to force him to commit because even if he's not the best volleyer in the world,
doesn't matter.
Him seeing the movement.
He's in
their target area, so they have to be committed to that stroke. If they let off at all because they see him move, now he gets an easier chance, right? So
100%.
You always want to be active at net, even if net play isn't your strength when you're playing doubles, because if you just stay stationary, I mean, you're really turning it into a 2-on-1.
Especially early.
Tough way to win.
Especially early. I love the move early. That's something that I've always struggled with personally. I love the move early to where, hey, if it's something that you're not even that comfortable with, that's fine. But if you move early, it puts fear in your opponents that you can do it.
Yeah.
If you wait 7 games to do it and then you do it in a fearful way, it doesn't put that much impact on your opponents. We got 2-1, 1 serving 2, Dan to serve. We'll see if the juniors can get another look. They had love 30 last time. We'll see if they can attack on Dan's second serve.
That's it. Oh, man, you just get that one back and going.
And Greg's getting mad at himself because he noticed himself. He backed up as Pete Free was hitting that second serve return. That's a great return. Dan serving and volleying. I don't. Now we'll see how this thing progresses, but I don't love the serving volley play. It's
really
tough.
He gets, for a 6'3" guy, he gets low and really does a good job of getting the legs big and staying wide and stable.
Correct. And on the return, if you can get the return low, it's just, I trust Dan's ground strokes all day long to stay with these two boys from the back. That's a great serve.
Oh,
That's unlucky. Greg should have hit that ball.
that's what he's telling him.
That's what happened last year. We got Vincent Recchi and Pat Curry out on court 3. That's what happened last year with Vince, and we actually talked about it after the match. I felt like he served and volleyed too much against us, against myself and Parker, my oldest, to where he was having to hit volleys. And the best part of Vince Recchi's game is his forehand ground stroke. And when you serve and volley, you're taking your weapon out of play. That was second serve. That's a double right there to give the juniors 2 break points.
Get the serve, get the return back and over, put the pressure on the return, or it's on the server rather, excuse me, because if they know the ball's coming back, regardless of how much pace they're on, they press. Like, I gotta do better,
Correct. We got 15:40 here, Dan serving to get an early break in the first set. It's a big first serve, great return, serving volley again, he missed a half volley. So again, I'm being analytical here and just watching this, but I don't love the serving volley play, just because if that ball goes, he's got to hit a half volley. So he's got to hit half volley below the level of the net. When the ball, if he stays back, he gets to hit his Probably if you go back over his 30 years of playing tennis, his favorite shot's going to be his forehand ground stroke. Well, he could have hit a forehand ground stroke if he didn't serve and volley.
There's a nice little secret.
That's-
Two hands in Parker.
That's a good return there by Dan. Made P Free. Good hands by Greg, but that's fast hands up there at the net by P Free.
Well, the thing too on the serving volley is if you can't get quick enough in, then you really open up your feet to that return, and the returner now doesn't have to worry about getting super depth, right? So they can put pressure on you just by hitting a nice safe hit ball to the service line.
Correct. I totally agree. It does. It puts in today's returner. It just seems like the return and the passing shots have just gotten such at a high level to where you are having to come up with a low half volley, something in transition, and the pace of the ball. It is extremely difficult. I don't know if I served and volleyed twice last year in this, and especially with the indoor courts, the speed, and we're not getting any younger, so like you have to be so fast to get in, and that's not. I'll say that's not me.
Yeah, unless you know
It's a double fault there by
the
Houston.
returner had, let's say last night with Parker, P3 struggling a little bit with that backhand return, then that's where maybe now you do serve and volley when you get to that backhand, because now you want to put a little extra pressure.
Correct.
So if you identify a weakness and then you want to put a little extra pressure on it,
Yep.
then go for it. But if you're serving into the teeth of Houston's forehand or backhand and expecting to come up with the inside of that, the way he's playing right now,
That's a great move by Dan. Super good hands by P Free. Hit it. Now see that's there. There's right. That's middle. That's net strap. You got two up against one up, one back. Winner's not the play. Making them volley right there. Making them volley. Making them hit the winner volley to beat them right there. We'll see the 30-all that gets back in the game to get to give them a chance to get the break back. At least they're in this service game.
so the smart play there is to go aggressive, but go aggressive down the middle.
Exact.
That's a big target and put the pressure on them to come up with a really great volley.
Correct. It hit the exact same shot with a different spot.
And this is perfect. Right? He stayed patient, took the rally.
So that's a good point right there. And like we said last night, like Houston has done a extremely good job of just being super solid on serve all tournament. I think we're still not. I don't think he has. And we'll see if he can finish this game. I don't think he has. Let's see if he goes middle. See, that was smart. Make him hit a ball. Make him hit another volley. Very smart. Absolutely. There's the difference.
That's exactly what we were talking about in the previous point.
Make him hit the volley. Correct.
You know, when you're the cross-court player back there, your job is to support and set up the net. You got to be steady in it. You're not looking for winners. You try to put the other team on defense, and if they make an error, then that's great. But really, you got to get the ball over the net, in the lines, and build the point to where your partner can get the net play.
100%. That last point, if you're able to get that ball below the level of the net, able to get the ball below the level of the net, there's no really way for the volleyer to go. And if you make them hit 3 or 4 volleys in a row, that's exactly what you want to do. Now, if you leave one up, your net person can get hurt. But if you get the ball down, they're not going to hit a winner.
But that's on the net person too. Is no one's perfect. So when you get the one floater, they've got to be paying attention and realize when it's time to bail out of there and get back and do their job and play defense.
All right, we got one serving 4. We got Greg to serve. They had a look last time at Love 30, and Greg served very well. I think 4 straight first serves. We'll see if they can get some early pressure again, because I think if they could, these juniors could get another one in this set. And that's what they did last night. That's great. He served. I think he's only missed 1 first serve so far today, if that.
Hitting his spots. It's not like it's just relying on the lefty spin. He's actually hitting it in the right location.
He used that body serve just a minute ago, which is I love. another good first serve. Very good first serve. Oh, we got 30 love here. That's that same one. We actually went through a little bit of analysis. He actually likes the Philip Parker YouTube recording, so he went through and he actually did some video splicing last night and actually recorded 3 or 4 of those backhand returns to try to watch it analytically. And we went over that a little bit before this and tried to see what he was doing, anything technically.
It's so important to video yourself. Take the kick in the ego. The camera will not lie, unfortunately. But if you want to get better, it's the fastest way to improve, because you will see things that you just don't realize how you're doing. Things that you think you're doing, you're really not.
100%.
I know I thought for a long time, I'm bending my knees on my ground strokes, and then I watch myself on video and I'm standing up like a tree. So That's
a good point. It's 40-30 still. They still have one more game point. Yeah, no, it's
quality depth there for you to keep Greg pushed back on the baseline. Video, you gotta watch yourself. It's painful, but it'll show you where you need to improve.
It also, sometimes it's tough to even understand where the racket is behind you because you're focusing on the ball. You might even on one video of your forehand or backhand, you don't even exactly know where the racket is, if it's the racket face is open or closed. Then you can multiply that times 100 when you start talking about points. What a point. Wrong spot by P. Free.
Stay smart.
Make him hit it.
Oh my God.
That is absolutely super point across the board right there.
That is high quality.
That's a great hole by Greg to just keep in this set. Juniors are up 4-2, but as I was saying, is you don't even sometimes understand where the racket is, racket face open or closed. Now you multiply that times 100 to understand exactly where you were on the court, where you were hitting the ball, seeing so many angles in this angle and being able to watch the whole video and watch a whole point and really truly understanding where was your partner, where were they? Because sometimes you're facing forward, you don't know where they are behind you. It's a good move.
And also what I like is it'll help you to detect errors in execution versus errors in shot selection.
Yep.
And so if you watch critically, were you making the right decisions, or were you just missing or have a technical deficiency or something in your game? Because you could be, maybe you missed a few forehands, but you were going for the right shot. Well, you don't want to go out with a completely different game plan next time just because you missed a few forehands. But if you missed those forehands because you were trying to do the wrong thing,
Right.
then you need to change tactics and not your
Yep.
forehand. Right? So,
It's a good draw volley there. Good serve. That's great serving 2 times in a row.
Pretty risky. It's pretty close to the sideline.
It's 2 huge serves by P. Free again. Going into I formation.
Now, why, just for a change-up, or why would you want to go I here?
I think they're just comfortable doing it and I think they're just comfortable in I formation. I like running I formation a good bit just as a natural, not necessarily that's a good volley. That's a very good volley right there. It's a way to hold your ground. I like going into I formation as sometimes a standard play based on the opponent, based on where you want the opponent to hit the return.
So in that case, is the probable play looking for Greg's backhand return, and then Parker already Houston already being in the middle?
No, right, exactly. So you can look at lefty.
To get to the
Correct, and you can stand, especially if you're 6'3", you can stand a little bit in the center. You can pop up one way or the other. You can stand Australian. You can force the return. You can force the return based on the serve and where you're standing to a specific spot. So if P. Free always wants to hit a first ball forehand, they can actually put Houston dead middle, and he's going to go left and hit the ball to a certain spot to where you're leaving the down the line open. But if P. Free knows he's going over there, he then can start the point with the forehand. We talked about that the other night with Ryan and Everett when they were playing their first round match, and one of the opponents was a little bit injured. they were not able to capitalize on the injury when they could have done some I formation and forced John Hall out of the match. But John Hall took over, and they weren't able to get the ball enough to the injured guy.
The thing I like about that sequence you're talking about is to me it describes the net player's responsibility of driving play. You dictate what your opponent is going to do by your positioning. Right? So if you want them to hit around you, then you take away the center.
100%.
If you want to give them the line, then you go center. If they're hitting the line, then you take the line away, force them into the cross court, or force them into the cross court if your partner has a really strong ground stroke and overpower. So you have to be mobile and dictating play as the net player, regardless of whether you're touching the ball or not.
Yep.
And I think too many people are passive, regardless of how they feel about their volleys or not. They can still affect play even without touching the ball.
100%. 100%. And I like that also. That's unbelievable hands, but and then this is that.
Easy one. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and especially based on the shots of your opponent. So like we have the great Anthony Leosi that just walked up right behind us, and he's got a one-handed backhand. And so like the one-handed backhand might be a shot where it's a little bit more difficult to change direction of a high backhand volley, and you force I formation and be able to make an Anthony Leosi hit a backhand down the line. That is unbelievable again by P. Free. We've got 15:30 here. Let's actually check in here with Anthony Leosi here for just a second and see how that men's open match actually finished up there on court 3. Anthony, how did we do there?
Oh, it was a phenomenal match. We had some good points. It was 7-6 in the first, 6-7, and we lost the third set breaker, 10-7. Very difficult getting the ball past Vincent Redke. Stands in the middle of the court and smashes volleys past me.
So it was 7-6, 6-7.
10-7.
10-7.
Yeah,
That's
one match point in the second for us. Returning at 6-5.
That's a high level doubles. That's 1 point right there changes the difference with that match. We got 30 all here. We have this return.
Big serve, really big serve.
That's a big serve out of Dan. They got game points to be able to hold serve here, to be able to put all the pressure on. See you, Anthony. Thanks, man. To be able to put all the pressure on Houston to hold serve for the set. That's out. So that's another very, very good serve by Dan. All right, so now here we go. We've talked about it all week. This is the 5th set. Like I said, I don't think Houston has faced break point yet. We're putting a little media pressure on him right now that he has no idea we're doing it. So we'll see if he can continue. Oh, there we go. We got love 15. So is it it'll definitely be, that's my fault on the score there. It'll definitely be my fault if Houston does not hold serve here.
It's the commentary jinx, right?
The commentary jinx.
How well somebody's doing, then they immediately mess it up. We did that yesterday. We were talking about how good P-Free's backhand volleys were, and then he immediately dumped 3. And
correct. That is 2 great serves. A great serve, great return earlier by Dan. That's an absolutely perfect serve by Houston right there, hitting the tee, putting the pressure on the one-handed backhand return, which we just talked about. So 15 all here. That's another big serve. Took a little bit off. And Dan went a little big on the return. So we got 30-15. That's 3 first serves in a row. And then doubles at a high level, it's all about the first serve percentage. Went a little bigger there. There's a missed first serve. So we had a little almost let. There he took a little bit off, made the second. He's getting in a cross-court rally. I said smart, he went right at him to force P. Free to hit the volley. See, that's where you're not going winner. You just literally hit it right at the guy and make him, if he hits a volley winner, he hits a volley winner. But they just won the point.
I like the way they started the point, though, because it's more important to get the point started, leaning on your strengths, playing smart, rallying, not trying to go for too much. You know, and it didn't work out for him that time. But
that's a great first serve. There was the one that we talked about. We wanted to be spotty with the first serve out wide. He's been hitting that serve probably as well as he ever has. But you also, you're going into, let's say, Dan's strength with the forehand. Last night went into Vincent's strength with the forehand. But if you do it in a sporadic sort of way, you can get a free point.
Right? Because the previous 3 or 4 serves had been
body and tee.
Body, so Dan's going to take a step over to adjust, and then now that leaves the open.
There it is again. There it is. Houston has just been absolutely rock solid on serve so far. That's 5 sets. That's no break points even. No break points allowed. And that's the first set for the juniors, 6-3. That's a good first set. Your thoughts on the first set?
I think everybody's playing really well and really solid. It's been a lot of entertaining tennis. Now, I think it'll be interesting to see if we see the middle dip from either side. I mean, because you can say, okay, well, we just lost the first set if you're Greg and Dan, and you could just kind of have an energy down, right? Or you could get looser, and then if you're Houston and Parker, like it kind of did last night, where they felt like they were in total control, and so they kind of took some liberties and went for bigger shots, took more risk when they didn't need to, and then they made the second set more complicated. I think today it seems like they're more dialed in, and also it was a tighter set. So,
Correct.
My guess is they would probably feel less likely.
Right, because it was just one break in the first. One break in the first. There were, I don't even think anybody else even had a break point to get up 2 breaks or to get the break back. I don't think anybody, it was a pretty clean set, except for that one service game, and they got the break. So we'll see here starting out.
So any adjustments that you think either side should be looking to make?
I would actually, on the Mason Richardson side, right there you saw it. We had a miss. We had actually we had an ace, but then we had 2 missed returns in that last Houston service game. And the one point that they actually won was when Greg actually took off pace, made the return cross court. So if I'm Dan can adjust his pace very easily. That's a huge asset of his game. So I would slow it down, make sure that Dan makes the return, and if they guys hit volley winners, they hit volley winners. I'd slow it down, do what they did at that 30-15 point in the last game, and make more returns. And if they hit volley winners, they hit volley winners.
So playing a little more conservative.
A little bit more conservative off return. Don't force the return, because most of these 2 boys aren't serving and volleying. If you can get the ball by the net person, you can get the point started, and then you can look to do something a little bit different. If we go too big on the return, we can't. These guys can't afford. That's not the play, in my opinion. I used to get yelled at for hitting that. I thought it was out too. They did not call it. They're still going. That's too good. Too good. No, I don't love the lob volley there, but that's another discussion. But if you can get the point started off the return, it gets you in the point. You can't afford to have 1 or 2 return errors against these guys, because as we've seen, as well as they're serving first serves, they're not going to get they're probably going to get a free point, maybe off an ace or a service winner. Looks like I might have lost a little video there. Yeah, love 30 here. Pretty generous Greg on the lob volley call.
Video issues, but it'll come back here in a second.
It's a great first serve. It's a great return by P. Free. Oh, wow. That was athletic. We got some chuckles over here from Linda Lindberg again. Gotta love the upstairs social vibe we have going on here.
It pays to be tall, I'll tell you.
Yep. 6'3" is something that I only wish to have achieved.
5'3" for me.
We've got 5'3" over here with Linda Lindberg. Not sure if Linda would have been jumping up with the high backhand volley, the high backhand overhead smash off the backhand. Love 40 to get an early break, and we missed the return there. That's not a bad return. You can't get your first straight, but that's a good first serve.
Yeah.
I can't see these guys at all.
We got 15-40. We got 2 break points. Here's a momentum game. If the adults can get back in this game, It's a kind of a tough one to recover from. That's a missed return. That's 2 missed returns in a row after love 40. So here's this huge point right here is if the juniors can make them play, they can get up a break early, switching sides, probably to Houston to serve.
Yeah.
We'll see here. We got Greg. We got no video, so I'm going to give you a little bit more radio style call here. We got 30-40 Mason to serve. They're actually discussing a good bit here of where to go on Houston. Houston's looking just to make somebody hit one shot. Greg to serve, slider out wide, backhand cross. It's in. We got Greg with the second ball. It's wide. It looked wide. Yep, he called it out. I thought it was wide, clearly. It's a great serve. I could not hit a better return out of Houston with the slider wide from Greg. He made the first serve. Houston had a very good angle return that Dan could not get. And then Greg made a little bit of he only missed it by an inch, but I still got to give that a loose air off his forehand. He probably wants that one back. He wants that one back for sure.
Somebody hit the cord back there.
So we got
Take a break.
Oh, do we have any audio? Is audio still happening?
No, audio's good. I'm talking about on the camera.
All right, I'll do the radio style commentating here. We'll probably get Lyndon Limbeck here to give some color commentary as well. So we've got, we're doing the radio style now. We've got, we'll see, the juniors are actually going to serve here. And we're going to see if Houston chooses to serve. We're going to see if Houston chooses to serve or P. Free. It's actually, if we're going by the by whose serve it is, it would be P. Free serve. But they're going to the side that Houston's been serving the whole time. And it looks like Houston is actually going to serve, which I do like that play with, like I said, the statistics that he's proven so far in this tournament. So Houston to serve. They're up 1-0 a break. We're going to see if he can continue that. Solid first serve. Back in return by Dan. Great move coming in. Great volley by Greg and Dan. That's too good. Sticked it right through P. Free. We got love 15. Like I said, we're doing the commentary jinx a little bit with putting the pressure on Houston serving, but he is been holding up to his end of the bargain. At first serve again, he kind of took a little bit off, and Greg missed the return. He was looking for the big one, and Houston took a little bit off, had a little bit of a slide to it, and we got 15 all. All right, let's see. Houston actually hasn't brought out the cannon. We actually P. Free. That's pretty big there. We got another first serve. It's a high percentage, really solid first serve there. P. Free's actually hit a couple, probably the biggest serves of the day so far. But Houston's done a great job of moving it around the box, changing the spins, changing the miles per hour. Like I said last night with the Greg Maddox style serving. We'll see, we got 30-15 first serve. He's looking kick out wide to the forehand. Gives him the opening. That's a great volley by P. Free covering line. They ran I formation, kick out wide. Greg went line, and P. Free covered it and split the gap in between them. That's tough. I think on the return, I think you're going to have to leave Dan back a little bit if you're going to hit that thing line because the gap in between the two guys is just too wide. 40-15 here, Houston to serve. See where he chooses to go here to hold serve again. He went out wide, just clipped the tape. Second serve. I like it. Dan scooted back a little bit. Wants to just execute the return to serve. Kick to the backhand. Missed the return. And Dan is a little frustrated with that. That's his bread and butter right there. He wants that one back. But Houston again, held serve again without facing a break point, keeping the streak alive for the tournament. We got 2-0 juniors. 2-0 juniors, Dan to serve. Momentum is with the juniors here. This is a pivotal game to stay with them. This is what happened yesterday. The juniors could not get 2 breaks up. They stayed only 1 break up. And the adults were able to come back a little bit. Serve was actually very generous. Looked a little bit long, but he played it. P. Free, 2 great forehands to be able to rip the second forehand right down the middle of the court. I love the play going over the net strap. No reason to go big and wide from him. Just go right over the net strap, hit a clean winner. All right, we got love 15. Huge game here for the adults. They got to hold serve. They cannot afford to get 2 breaks down. First serve here, Dan Richardson, love 15. Big serve tee right to Houston's forehand. Did not clear the net. It's just a good serve. 15-all. Need high percentage first serves here for the adults here.
I know the adults.
They are adults, right?
And the others aren't.
Right? That's a big serve again. Great first serve, great volley. Super volley by Hughes. That's high level. Nope, missed it. Running forehand wide by P. Freed. Floated a little bit long. That's good hands by Greg and Dan there with a couple quick volleys. We got 30-15 serving Dan Richardson. Doing radio commentary is a little bit different than doing just when you have the live tennis feed. Shot by shot is a little bit more challenging. All right, we got Dan to serve 30-15. Again, they need to hold serve to be able to stay with these guys. Can't afford to get down 2 breaks. Here comes our technical guy, Philip. I should have asked the rep there. All right, Dan didn't think it was in, so second serve. I like it. It's us long. I like the kick serve up to the backhand. Houston kind of went up on one leg, didn't get over the top of it. Thing kind of missed it a little bit, floated long. I do like Houston staying up on that. Just got to do that a little bit early. Try to catch that way out in front and get the ball back cross. Don't and use the pace there. Don't need to create anything. Actually, could be a little bit more compact with that return. 40-15, Dan to serve to stay just 1 breakdown. See, I would like to see P. Free take a little off this return, make somebody hit a volley. Dan Richardson, first serve in the net, second serve here. P. Free scooted up 1 step, looking to get that return back down low. He went big on the second serve. That's too good. That's a big second serve. He had to back up. Good hold by Dan. We got 2-1, P. Free to serve. We got a little technical difficulties with the YouTube channel with the live feed, so we're working on that. Philip is. So we'll just have a quick chat here with Linda and ask her a couple questions. Just, Linda, how was your experience so far at the Jack Frost tournament?
Actually, it's been pretty awesome, and I did go back and watch myself. And yes, I saw lots of things I didn't love about my game.
That's one thing that we added this year with Philip being able to add 2 live feeds, which has been super cool. I think a lot of the players that have actually played the tournament have gone back and looked. It's been an added element. We're able to kind of stream the matches. It's been pretty neat.
And a few people have gone back and checked out their opponents and just narrowed it down. Okay, what are they doing on the first serve? Are they cross-court returners? Are they,
Yes. I've also just a little on the humorous, well, maybe not humorous. I think some have also gone back to check some line calls I've heard as well to see, hey, was that forehand actually in or out? And I think that's happened a couple of times as well. I've heard through just people walking around this week. So, no, it is. It's been a good addition that we actually added this year. Hopefully we'll even have more courts by next year. All right, we got 2-1, P. Free to serve. It's a great first serve, great return by Dan. That's two. Oh, with that ended up sliding in. Houston with a big overhead, just whiffed the overhead. Unbelievable. P. Free gets the ball back, though, behind him. The point is still going. That's too good by Dan. Very awkward, interesting point there. Very awkward, interesting point. But what we got, we have Love 15, P. Free to serve, 2 serving 1, and Love 15. First serve, P. Free, big at the body. This very similar game to last night. There's a poach, there's a backhand drop volley. This is exactly what happened yesterday when they end up losing serve and got back in the match. So we got Love 30. I think the juniors right here have to slow down, have to be able to execute right here. You can't get down Love 40. Got to run their most conservative, solid, aggressive play here. First serve out wide, the big serve to the forehand. Dan did miss the forehand return. All right, 15-30. Got to get back to 30, y'all. Don't want to be facing break point. Let's see if they can. Again, I'd run the most aggressive but conservative play. That sounds a little oxymoron, but safe targets, aggressive. Here's P. Free first serve. Great first serve. Good return by Greg. Great backhand P. Free. And a missed forehand off the 4th ball of the point by Greg off the forehand side. Now 30 all. Great serving by P. Free. Great serving by P. Free. We're going to see if they can get in the point here. Get in the point. P. Free first serve. Kick to the backhand. Deep ball backhand. Return by Dan. Dan came into the net. P. Free big forehand. Went. That's again. We're going to go back to yesterday. There's that 5th or 6th ball of the point, and P. Free's option is to go at them or around them. He chose around them, and there was an error. That's where it's 30 all. The pressure's all on the juniors to be able to make the ball there. There's no reason to hit the winner. You have to make them hit the volley. All right, so we got first break point down by the guys here. They're going I formation, giving them a target. There's the break again. Again, we can talk about that. He was just diving for that volley, I think. I don't love the overall game there. Just don't love the overall game. And I don't love the I don't mind the I formation, but giving Greg the target to be able to play a little bit more free. And then we went too big on the other forehand by P. Free. So we got 2 all here. Now they're back in it. Adults are back in it. That's out. All right. We had a great commentary from Linda Lindbergh. It was wonderful. The little 4-0 ladies' perspective here was wonderful.
The ladies picking up the used tennis balls knocked out the Ethernet cable to the Wi-Fi router that is powering the cameras.
Interesting.
Wonderful.
So, little minor technical support niggle. But we got it correct. So.
There's absolutely great serve, great volley, and I know we need that. We had just absolutely super solid return off of Houston, and then the backhand angle, high level. I've noticed over the last day a lot of the serves they're staying away from Houston's forehand on the return, but as we see. The backhand return has been extremely solid. So, yes, just because the forehand is the bigger weapon doesn't necessarily mean that you can't go to it. You might be able to get some free points. There's a kind of a big swing out of P. Free, which I'm not a big fan of, but he ends up hitting it a little bit late and getting these guys 3 break points to get the break right back.
I feel like it's a good change-up return there. I mean, he had been solid cross court, so saw Dan maybe lean into the middle a little bit. And then...
You're going to have to ask P. Free later if he did that on purpose now, Philip.
I'm trying to give him the benefit of
the doubt. We got to check that dampener at the bottom of that racket to see if it just has some ball fuzz on it. Because I'm not sure if he hit much strings or he hit all dampener.
Well, that's why you put a dampener on your racket.
That's right.
So
yep.
That's where you tend to hit the ball.
See, there's a first serve into the forehand, and Houston ended up going chip. Okay, that's a great deep ball. Attack it, go down the line, and come in. Well, I don't know. He did not go in. Again, we can rewatch this. P. Free has no business hitting that volley to Dan. There's absolutely no business hitting the volley. The ball got to go to the deep person. But I also would have liked to have seen Houston on that short forehand hit the ball in and put the pressure, get 2 up against 1 up, 1 back. So a couple little detail things that as these guys progress, they're going to be able to learn from a couple of those things to put the pressure on them to put out, especially on break point. You could get back up at the break. We'll see what happens. See if that point right there can be a momentum shifter. Because I feel like if they play that point a little bit more solid, they're 3-2 up, break up.
And it's those couple of points in the match that can make the difference.
Yep. Again, that's the wrong spot. And we're gonna, as being the coach of some of these 2 boys, that's. I mean, you're a break up to basically, in my opinion, with Houston to serve, you really could be getting the nail in the coffin to be able to. If you can break here, then you're serving 4-2 up. The hole seems big, okay, and right there, this game should be over, and. Now we have a big serve out of Mason, and we're back to deuce. We got one more. This is what happened in the last Greg Mason service game, and they were able to still break. We're going to see what happens here. Great serve. That's a great serve, so now they're back to deuce. Just remember, we talked about this point in the match, this point, and and see if this changes momentum. Well, now we're ordering food. We went from the buffet, the brunch buffet. Now we're ordering food. We got cheeseburgers coming out. All right, we got deuce 2 all after 3 boys.